I don't want to get into those. There were 672 riots until Godhra. Been no riots in Gujarat. There has been no riot in a manner of speaking in the last 12 months. I think he's smart enough to know that in that essay, I mentioned 3 people in contemporary history who've built their own legacies in their lifetime. Mahatma Gandhi, Winston Churchill, and Modi. They've assiduously wanted to build their own legacies. Now, I'm not saying these are the 3 greatest human beings. Please understand the point. The point I'm making is they are so concerned about their own legacy that they won't fundamentally make stupid mistakes. So I think what he's going to do is continuously move away from the polarizing that he was known for to the embracing that he should be known for. Which is why, if you see, he takes a while, and I don't necessarily agree with Swapan Dasgupta in his assessment of his silence, but I think he's very clear that he's not going to let the development agenda get hijacked. And people will get wrapped on the knuckles when they need to. The only problem I have is he should do it quicker than later. Because the moment you spend time over it, it's almost as if you're doing it because there's pressure rather than doing it out of belief.
All right. Pam, you had a question.
In America, they say, if you're successful, why aren't you rich?
So is that strong financial position is the only mantra for success?
Not at all. Roshan Seth, a very dear friend of mine, is one of the most successful actors that we in this country have ever produced. And he's not rich, but he's extremely successful.
I'm just asking why your book says mantras for success, but it's only rich people in it.
No, this is of corporate India. But I'll put you in my next book. I mean, I'm not suggesting I'm poor. You know what I mean? The idea is accepted.
The lady just next to you and then the lady.
No, this is not a question. I just want to extend something that what you were talking about, that Indians are very poor at giving charity. I would say, okay, let's not talk about the people of the League of the Ambanis. We ourselves also, if we go to the Hindu temples, they are dirty. We don't want to give anything in charity at all. It would be maybe 10 rupees or 50. Whereas if you see the Sikh temples, they are much, much more generous. They are ready to help each other. We Hindus aren't. So I think that stems also from us that, if you can't even give some money for a young girl to get married, we are very cagey about it. We give away probably we are being photographed or, talked about. So this is something I think everybody will agree. And with Modi, I would say I have a lot of respect for him. Okay, he has some shortcomings like all human beings do. But one thing that makes him outstanding is that he's very courageous and he's India proud. Which in the past, a lot of people were not India proud. You have to be proud as an Indian. I don't think many of us sitting here, we are Indian, but we are not India proud. We are not. So I think we should at least become that, and maybe we would kind of... I think we all are. Very,
let's get questions.
Yeah, let's just get some questions. And by the way, when you talk about CSR, I don't know about what Suhail does otherwise, but I know that every morning he gets up and he retweets a whole bunch of tweets, which he can only be doing if he's just a very generous person. And they're from people who say, "Mera toaster kharab hai, can you please retweet this?" And the company responds, or I didn't get a response from so-and-so airline, and they delayed my flight, and I've lost all this money and all the rest. And so he will make sure, and I have to say, I don't know where you get the time to do it, but so he actually follows up with those companies until he gets some kind of a response. So I know that you're doing a daily CSR on social media as well. Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
I have a question about the area of Nano, and I remember Mr. Ratan Tata saying that he had positioned the car as the people who buy two-wheelers, they move to that car as a family car. So, and then in spite of that failed. What's your opinion? Were you involved at that stage?
No. I was never involved. Not to suggest that I'm not involved with failure. So it's not that I wasn't involved with that project. It was at 3 stages. The interview that he gave on the 9th of January in 2010 was to suggest that this will be the people's car. It'll be a made in India, made for Indians car. Then it went through a change where he said, no, it's for those. I got the inspiration because I saw an entire family of 4 on a two-wheeler getting wet in the Mumbai rains, and I decided that they must have a car. Then he made the fundamental error, where he says, it'll be the cheapest car. and it'll have to be under a lakh. It was never under a lakh. When you position things at a price point, it's like the dollar stores across the world. You love to see a dollar store, but how many people will you tell that you bought stuff from a dollar store? Because you know everything available for $1. So these are very nice laudatory or interesting statements to make. But when it comes to the crunch, you will observe that consumers are very cagey. See, one last quick marketing lesson, and you will remember this for the rest of your life. Every consumer weighs products across three kinds of risks: social, self-image, and performance. So let's take the example of a Mercedes-Benz. If you're driving a Mercedes-Benz, there's no social risk. No one's going to say, oh my God, why is he driving a Merc? There is no self-image risk. You don't feel bad about yourself. But can you imagine if your Mercedes-Benz stops outside Dhola Kuan, where all your friends are going to the next kiddie party? What's it going to make you feel? So the performance risk is high. Let's take a matchbox. If it's a matchbox of St. Regis in New York, there is no performance risk. If one match doesn't like, to hell with it. There's no self-image risk. There's no social risk. But can you imagine if that matchbox was from Holiday Inn Rajouri Gardens? You'd want to show it off. So when you weigh brands across risks, and these are not where we go with a shopping bag and then we isolate these risks. It's all happening in your head. The problem with the Nano was that it failed on two of the most critical risks, the social and the self-image. Social because other people are saying, Nano, ye to sasti gaadi. Self-image because you said, oh my God, I'm driving the cheapest car. You weren't smart because you were driving the cheapest car. You were coming across as poor because you were driving the cheapest car. Also because he advertised the price at 1 lakh. No other car was ever advertising their prices as a round figure because everyone would say, oh, plus road tax, plus, city taxes, whatever they are. Whereas here you'd already given it a round figure. That's the bad thing. It's much like Bata pricing in the old days, 99.99. So.
But even the mobile people owning mobile still want to know. It was that bad, the self-image aspect.
Yeah. But don't talk about that. You have 80 million users of mobile telephones. So, 80 million of data.
And to counter that, when it comes to the cell phone, Sohail himself has the example of the Micromax founder going to Harvard and being asked, so if you had to give Steve Jobs some advice, what would you give? And this was after their last failure or whatever. And he said, I have no advice to give Apple. तुम अपनी phone 60,000 के लिए बेचते रहो, हमारे लिए अच्छा. So I mean, so there are those things, and I think so. Some of them one has to mention, although these are essentially relative. But the values obviously have changed if what you described is true. That somebody does not even want to take a car because it might make him look poor. Because maybe 20 years before that, people were very happy to get a Maruti and
but remember, 20, 30 years ago, the Maruti 800 was actually a badge of honor. Because you were comparing it to an ambassador and a Fiat.
Just sorry to intervene, but it's not only us. Our chauffeurs are already seen driven in that. If you send them to the market, they say, we don't want to go in the Nano. So forget us.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to know, is there any universal mantra for success, or is it individual?
Get a nap after lunch.
I'll tell you one. No, nap I think is essential, but we'll park that. There must be a never-ending thirst for knowledge. The day you feel that you know everything, even about your own subject, you're dead. And somehow our education system is so clamping that people feel, okay, if I've done my master's, if I've done my MBA, I know it. That shouldn't happen. But having said that, I would say that knowledge would be the most important success factor. You know that, Ratan, we went many years ago when the Evoque was being launched to a place called Graydon outside London to test drive the car. He's the chairman of a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. We spent 6 hours on the goddamn leather seat. I'm a mongering guy. I wanted to leave in an hour. 6 hours on the stitching of the seat. Now, if that's your attention to detail and that's your passion, but it's also because he kept imbibing more and more knowledge. Before that, he'd gone to Crewe to see how the Bentley is made and how, the seat stitching happens there. It's all about your hunger. And I'm a great believer that the more you read, the more you engage in debate and discourse, the more intelligent conversation. See, the other thing we've got rid of in Delhi, which by the way some of us still maintain, I maintain it, I know Mala Singh maintains it, the salon culture has disappeared. Every evening it's about a party. Irrelevant, stupid chatter, no context, people go home, get drunk, go home. Either with their own wives or someone else's. But the salon culture has disappeared, which by the way was great in Calcutta. In Calcutta we had paddle culture. So we had the adda, which was the street adda, and you had a salon culture. We actually went, had conversations, talked about stuff. So that's the thing.
Just want to add something. Knowledge or intelligence with correct value system, you will see that most of the people are getting success. You can just, I think, visualize whatever you want, but you are very intelligent. I was saying, why? Because I see you as a boy.
Yeah. Mrs. Chuk was
Sorry to see
in ITC. Mr. Chuk was the chairman when I was working in it. No, you're right. I think, see, knowledge and intelligence without a value base can also border on criminality. I mean, Bernie Madoff had an IQ of 179. Einstein had one of 182. But it was a criminal bent of mind. If you remember what Nehru said about Mundra during the entire, those scandals, these people were very proud, but they use it for the wrong reason. I'm sure Daud Abraham will score pretty well on an IQ test, as will Sharad Pawar. So I'll leave the rest unspoken.
Yeah, I think that's better. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to speak about, you spoke about tax evasion, and you said the people who evade tax should be jailed. Now, I have a question. You say that every tax evader should be jailed. If all corporate houses pay their taxes religiously, if a middle class businessman, he pays his tax, everybody pays tax, and the tax goes to the politicians.
Eventually it goes to the donor, it goes to the politicians. The politicians splurge that money on everything but development. So why should we pay our taxes religiously all the time? What's wrong with spending the money on ourselves?
So let me tell you, that is the most, I can't use the word that I really want to use, but that is the most audacious logic I've ever heard in a long, long time. I tell you why. It's just to say that, if someone is stealing from a mall and he's then enjoying the luxuries of that theft, why can't I steal?
No, but the lady's saying someone is stealing my money and using it for themselves.
One minute, there are two issues here. There are two issues. I've understood your question. It's the same logic that Indians give for not doing many things that they should do, saying, "Pata nahi kahan jayega." The same bunch of Indians will never give to charity, saying, "Oh, we don't know where this money will eventually go." So that's crap as far